Here we go. We're live again, and welcome everyone to the Sacred Heart Connections. It's all about love. And today's segment is, and welcome to people who weren't aware that I do this segment. I do it every second week, alternative week, on 1 Million Meditators. And I'm now sharing live on Instagram. And thank you to everyone who comes on, sends in comments and shares, because we're in amazing times, and some of the questions that have been coming through, and also with some of my clients, what I'm noticing is there's a bit of a theme with fear or anxiety. So if we looked at, and like if you're on, please send through your comments so I know. There, I just lost you for a sec. So I think we're on. Yeah, we're just checking connection. Sorry. Yes, now I'm on. It just dropped out for a sec. So good morning again and welcome. So today's segment, because of the questions that I've been receiving on comments and clients from around the world sharing their feelings on, which are fear-based, about their anxiety, where their fears are actually coming from, not able to step into their power and make decisions that are for the goodness of them and for the goodness of their higher self, which means their self-esteem. So if your self-esteem is low, you've created this block within, and you're not following your inner guidance. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about that and about what anxiety actually is. So I've had lots of lived experience in my younger days. Hi, Jude. Is that Jude from Australia, from the Gold Coast in Australia? Hi, my love. How are you? So today I'd like to talk about the anxiety I went through, and hopefully by sharing my story, I can help someone else with their story, because what's happening is, yes, hey, Jude, how are you, lovely? What happens is people with anxiety or fear or scared or they're scared about something and making decisions are more likely to say, no, I haven't got anxiety. And I remember being there and having that lived experience myself. You're great. Yeah, I'm great too. Thank you. Yeah, having that lived experience. I would love to be on the Gold Coast. So sending my love to everybody on the Gold Coast, especially Burleigh Heads. I miss the beautiful ocean and the whales and the dolphins, and just so beautiful. But anyway, I'm sure I'll be back there soon enough to give you all a big hug, and sending so much love. So with anxiety, what happens is our nervous system gets triggered, and then there's a reaction a chemical reaction which goes to the brain, and we believe what we are feeling to be true. So what happens is we're unable to make, because of the way the reaction within the brain, we're unable to register and recalibrate and bring ourselves back down to say, hey, it's just anxiety or fear. It's not really my truth, because of the chemical reactions going on with the body. So everything gets triggered, and it's like, they call it the fight or flight. But what that means is simply, I need to get the hell out of here because I don't feel good right now in this moment. But if we understand that the anxiety is coming from the mind, it's actually coming from a mindset that's of old programming or old beliefs, which have been put there actually when we're children. So the anxiety is triggered from an old patterning that we've adopted to, and it's become our personality, and we take that into adulthood. So if we understand it, and I keep it simple because I love what Einstein said or says in one of his quotes: if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. So I like to keep everything simple. So in my experience, I remember there was lots and lots of triggers, and I remember being at work and there'd be maybe, and maybe you have someone in your workplace that does this to you. So they come across very, they've got their own anxiety going on and their own stuff, but they come across being authoritarian. They'll bring you down. They will do anything to intimidate you and try and take your power. These sort of people, we have to send them love because they are suffering. They're suffering mentally in their own programming, but they're triggering us and our anxiety because we're coming from goodness and from our heart, which is we don't understand why they are the way that they are. So we have these little triggers. And sometimes the triggers can be, if we look at the mind and how that is triggered and how once the fear, so we looked at fear being a big umbrella, and under that fear there's scaredness and guilt and shame and blame, and sometimes there's anger. What we don't want to do is trigger those emotions because they're actually low vibration, and low vibration means that they will stop you from making good decisions for yourself. Because we tend to, as we're younger, we're taught to care about others first and forget about how we're feeling. But that's actually not the truth of the way. That's the old way and what we've been taught for thousands of years. The truth is we need to do what's good for us, because when we're step into our goodness of who we truly are, we're able to feel a sense of love within our hearts. And when that's elevated, we're able to share that with others. And fear, anxiety cannot live in a body full of love. So it's about, how do I feel? So we're working with the old emotions or the old paradigms or the low vibrational frequency emotions that aren't good with us into a more elevated emotion of love and peace and kindness. So going back to the story, I was saying, like being triggered in the workplace or being triggered by perhaps a partner or a situation, perhaps, maybe you're driving along and someone cuts you off and all of a sudden you've actually triggered your nervous system, and it'll take you into the fight or flight. So the idea is to bring yourself back into calm so you're able to make good decisions for you. So with anxiety, I think the biggest thing that I'd like to share today for everyone is that we need to take responsibility for our own anxiety and don't point the finger at others, because if we start pointing the finger at others and blaming them for the way we're feeling, we are actually giving our power away to them. We want to become empowered. We want to become powerful in our spirituality, in our mental health, in our emotional health, and we want to stay healthy. That does not rely in someone else. It relies totally on us, just like our happiness. But if we want to give our power over, we can quite easily do that. And why? But we need to start asking ourselves, why would I do that? Why would I want to give my power over to someone else who I know is suffering as well? So the key to, I guess, keep anxiety at bay. And look, sometimes this isn't easy. I still, I might go okay for a couple of months and then all of a sudden, wham, there's anxiety and it's hello. Now what do I do? And I always have my little things that I love to do. I do a lot of daily practice with meditation, sometimes yoga, sometimes walking in Mother Nature, sometimes swimming, sometimes going to the ocean. So you need to find those golden gems that keep you elevated. And golden gems for your spiritual treasure chest are things that give you joy and keep you happy. And sometimes it might be reaching out to a friend who when you spend time with them, you're going to feel so good when you leave them. That's going to elevate your emotions. Or it might be just going to the beach by yourself. It might be going away with some friends, with a group of friends or family for a weekend, and just knowing that you're able to move that low vibrational emotional energy. We are in a world that's very, fear-based at the moment. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, because a lot of people are becoming aware of what consciousness actually is, and consciousness, that we are the creators of our own consciousness. So if we're creating fear and feeding into fear, such as social media, different things, having discussions about social media and what's happening in the world at the moment that isn't good for us, it means we're feeding fear, and we're staying in the fear consciously. So we want to become conscious of the knowing that we have something inside us that is very unique, very special for each and every one of us, and that is our beautiful hearts. And when we step into that, we come into a place of love and peace and kindness. So that's where we want to be at. So when I and I hope I'm coming across in a way of understanding here. So for me, if I was in my anxiety state, and sometimes that can go on for, it might be an hour, sometimes it can be a day, maybe it's 3 days. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just giving you some examples, and I hope that really reaches out and helps people. So if I was in my anxiety, what I would start to do is actually retreat, not withdraw. I just retreat into me. And I start giving myself love. So what that means for me is I do love meditations. It might be one of my own, Sacred Heart. It might be one that I've chosen off YouTube, because there's thousands, there's many. The key is to find that thing or that person or that meditation, or it can be all of those, or it might be a pet, anything that brings you up back into your elevated state of love. That is the key to work with anxiety, because anxiety cannot live in a body full of love. So if you can elevate those feelings of love that come from your heart, anxiety will just dissipate. But we also need to come to an understanding that anxiety or fear, guilt, shame, blame, all of those are quite natural for many of us, because we were brought up in an era of that. Just like our parents, we don't blame, because that's sort of a low vibration, but our parents were brought up, our grandparents were brought up, and ancestors in a fear-based environment, controlled by systems of government systems, education systems, whatever you want, this media, all controlling. So we are in that environment of fear. But as science says, we are not, as humans, that's not our natural state. Anxiety is not, and fear-based is not our natural way. Our natural way is love and peace, compassion, kindness, harmony. And even when I say that, if you closed your eyes and said it to yourself while you're holding your heart, you will feel something amazing, something so powerful in your heart, knowing that will show you that is the real you. Anxiety is not you. Fear is not you. Scaredness is not you. Guilt, shame, blame, that is not you. It's not us, and it's not the way we're meant to be. We're not designed that way. And I do a lot of research, and I've done a lot of studies over the years and attended many, many workshops. I have a university degree in human services. I'm a Reiki Master. Like, I've done many. I'm not here to sort of talk about that, but I'm just telling you I've done all these studies. But the one thing that I have learned through, my teachings, my teachers, whoever they are around the world, there's many. And hi, if you're listening today, amazing. Thank you for sharing and getting me to where I am today. And also my near-death experience. So there's like a holistic things that have happened, experiences that have happened in my life to get me to where I am today, as in everyone out there that's listening to this today. But so science has proven that the heart has its own brain. So we've got the brain up here, which takes on, there's several functions in the brain. And one is where we learn by repetition, maybe learning how to operate machinery or drive a car or something like that. Then there's the part of the brain that remembers everything. It's like a little database that we draw on. So it remembers fear as a child. It remembers everything in your childhood is in there. And then it's triggered, it's pulled out when we go into into adulthood. And then there's the part of the brain that gets really creative. Now, that's what we all want to access, and we want to bring that into the heart. So the heart has its own way of thinking. It's a lot more powerful than the thinking mind or the thinking brain, and it also has its own nervous system. So if we were to work with the nervous system of the heart, we'd be saying, where are we today? From the heart. Put your hand on your heart gently and just gently close your eyes. Step in to your heart, because where your attention goes, the mind says, oh, we're there now. So if you put your hand on your heart, the mind will allow you to feel your heart, and you just gently breathe into your heart and ask your heart, what is it you need to see in this moment? And watch, keep doing it and watch what happens. Magic happens. Because you start to feel something because you're asking. It's like stepping into your higher self, into your spirituality, into your soul. And you're saying, I believe in you and I trust that you are going to give me the answers, and it will. Keep asking. I remember, and this really, really works. I'm like living proof. I'm an advocate for spirituality, for the light, for love, because when I remember when I had my near-death experience, I remember being really, really stuck in two worlds. I knew there was something that I was tuning into, which was my intuition, my higher self, my spirituality, and I knew that came from the heart because I was receiving from the heart, from the higher dimensions, from the divine. And then there was a side of me that was still very human and stuck. And I had to learn how to navigate both and live in this world, because each and every one of us has a gift to share with the world. And we don't all have to be yoga teachers, and we don't all have to be spiritual teachers and meditation teachers. And some of us have gifts that which is our creative side, might be writing books, being an author, or it might be a TV reporter that brings in more goodness and more high vibration to the planet and to the world and the people. It might be someone who's a wonderful marketer and knows how to put messages like this across and promote and help people that are out there trying to get these messages and this work out there to help others step into their true love and light. So any questions on that? That would be amazing if you could send them through. So basically, just to give you, before we finish up, to give it to you simply, we have the mind. So when I draw this for someone, I just draw 3 circles and I say, this is your mind. So it's not the real you. It's just part of your body, your physical body, and it's where information sits, and it does many, many things. But if it's understanding what the mind and brain does, we can actually work with it to bring in that heart energy and heart opening, and work with the frequency of the heart to elevate that energy. Then the thoughts are elevated. Then we step into our higher power, which is our spirit. So there's the 3rd circle, being our spirit, our soul, who we truly are. And when we do that, we're able to receive from the heart what we're here to do, and our gifts come to light. Whether you are, I know nurses, and I know Jude is listening. She's a nurse on the Gold Coast in Australia, an amazing nurse. But like nurses and doctors, they have unique gifts that they want to do that so they can help people. They want to do that because they care about humanity, and not taking anything away from anybody that has had experiences with doctors that weren't so good. They're just human too. They have a human side, and what that is can be many things for many doctors. But I've had some amazing experiences with doctors, and they've helped me through my illnesses in the past. But I've also had some not so good experiences. So I'm not here to put down or judge anyone on what they do in their profession, but I'm just saying, overall, doctors and nurses, and it's like police officers, they have these jobs that, are in there trying to serve the community in a way that keeps everyone safe and healthy. Also, before I go, a little tip for anxiety is to love it. And I'm not saying invite it in. What I'm saying is just to love it when it arises. So if fear comes in, or you're scared of something, or you feel guilty about something, maybe if a friend's called me and she wants me to go with her and do something, but he or she takes a lot of my energies, and I don't feel like doing that today because I need to do some work on myself or have time for myself. It's okay. Do it without guilt. Just say, I'm sorry, I've got some things on today, because your truth is you need to do some work on you and allow time for you. And because with guilt comes shame, and we start to feel shameful. So the tips of today are reverse those. If you start to feel guilty, what are you worthy of? So guilt is saying I'm not worthy. I feel worthless if people don't like me for who I am, and I must give. No. I must sit in my own space and come back to my true heart and be happy. And when you're happy, then you go out with your friends or give to the others and not feel that guilt or shame or blame. So, and we tend to do that. It's like an automatic thing. I feel blah, blah, blah when you do this. Well, is that helpful to you, and is that helpful to them? It's actually not, and it's a really old paradigm way, and I know that because when I worked as a counsellor using different therapies, and especially in mental health, it doesn't work by pointing the finger. What works is I feel blah, whatever. I feel anxious today. What did I do? And then you go in and you just sit and go, what did I do today that elevated my anxiety? And don't point the finger. Point the finger in if you're going to point it somewhere to your heart. What is it I need to do so my anxiety is not elevated, or my fear elevated in the future when I'm in that situation? That is reprogramming. That is changing your inner world. It is changing your psyche, and it is changing the way you feel. That is powerful. Not pointing the finger at others saying you made me feel, or I felt, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't work. You can do that for the rest of your life, and it's not going to change the way you feel. So you are responsible for your feelings, so you need to go in and stop pointing the finger at others. I mean, I've lived this, I've done it, and it doesn't work. So now I've found a new way of doing. I look after me and how I feel, and my feelings are my responsibility. They're not the responsibility of others. Very, very powerful. I'm just going to put my glasses on because it's yes. So I've got Bobby Love. I love that name, Bobby Love, and Julie Chris. Hi from New York. So this is amazing. Like, we've got different spectrums of the world. Like, I'm here in Bali, and I've got people on here from Australia, New York. Bobby, where are you from? Sending blessings to all these miraculous times. They certainly are. And who hopefully with what, before I finish up, hopefully with what I've said has made sense. Please give me feedback for the next segment, and I can share more about this. But what the message is, if you allow fear, whether it comes from others or whether it's coming from inside you, from your old programming, you are stepping out of your power, and you're feeding into an energy that does not serve you. So what we want to do is step into our power through the heart, which is love and peace and kindness and happiness. Now, if someone steps into your energy field in any time on any day, it's still your responsibility to protect your field of energy. People can't suck your energy field. And I say this in my workshops. If people could suck your energy and feed off that, wouldn't you think these corporate companies would have worked out how to put that in a bottle and sell it? You know, we have to take responsibility for how we're feeling and not feed into the negativity of guilt and shame, blame. and fear, because that's what happens. Listen to the social media. I really don't, but I hear this from others and my clients. I go, don't listen to it. You're feeding into an energy. You're giving part of you away. You're selling your soul to the media. Don't sell your soul to anyone. Step into your power and just keep telling yourself that you are a beautiful, beautiful love and light being. You are here with a gift to serve the world. Find your unique gifts and share them with the world. I'm just going to read. Sorry for a moment. Oh, thank you, my love. Someone's just giving me thank you. I love the comments. And look, this is how it works. So if you put comments that are positive, or you're asking questions that you want to know more about how to do this, what happens is not only am I giving like from the heart and sharing this wisdom and knowledge, you are receiving, but then you're receiving on a level that elevates you, and you're able to give that to someone else. This is how we give and receive. It's like breathing in and out. Mother Earth, breathe in. She's giving love. Here, Mother Earth, breathe out. Exhale love. Hand over things to Mother Earth, because she purifies every exhale, which is carbon monoxide, which we exhale. So it's a little bit like, am I breathing in love into my emotions? Or am I feeding into fear? Am I feeding into guilt and shame and blame? Am I feeding into anger? So this is the work every day, the inquiry, self-inquiry. And, some days you won't have to do the self-inquiry. Some days you can just be in your meditation as soon as you wake up and go, wow, I'm there. I'm going to ride this as long as I can. It's like milking your heart, your elevated heart, for as long as you can. And when you feel that energy shift, go back into it. That's taking responsibility. It's spiritual discipline with love. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming on, and thank you for sharing where you're from. I get so excited. And New York, I love it. So and Australia, feeling, because I miss home. I might be in Bali, and it's one of the most beautiful. There's many beautiful places in the world, but Bali is a very beautiful place, and it's a nice place to be. It's actually shifted energetically as well, so it's going through its own stuff. But I do miss my home, and I do miss my family. But for now, this is where I am. So this is where it's all going to happen from. So have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone. Remember, point your lips up to the heavens. Keep smiling. When you do that, you radiate out a beautiful energy from your heart, and you are helping someone. You don't even have to speak to them. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to do anything. Just do this, and they will receive that love. If they don't worry. Just keep doing it. Eventually, they will shift, and you'll help them step into their power. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.